So today I'm going to introduce a new feature in StayFi called the HomePage, which is a exciting new product that is free in your StayFi account. So there's no extra cost to using this new tool, and I'll go through today all the ways that it can benefit your business and then show you in the StayFi account how the setup process works. Just a little background on StayFi, if you're not as familiar, is we're a technology company that's on a mission to help every short-term rental operator become more independent and profitable. And the way we do that, and our most popular product, is our Wi-Fi marketing tool. So we have a product that helps you introduce your brand and collect data from every guest, not just the booker, through a captive Wi-Fi portal, very similar to what you would have experienced at a Starbucks or a hotel, where every single guest has to enter their information in order to access the Wi-Fi. Then within StayFi, we have a whole host of tools like email marketing, text marketing, to help you then take that data and actually turn it into repeat bookings. What today is about is a new product in that experience called the HomePage that not only will help you increase brand awareness and guest satisfaction, it can even help you generate more revenue before and during the stay from every single booking. So not only can StayFi help you get more repeat bookings, we can also help you now generate more incremental revenue with each stay in your properties. So how does this new product, the HomePage, work, and what is it exactly? So the HomePage is essentially a new landing page that's specific to every property that guests will automatically be directed to after they log into the Wi-Fi. You can see that step 3 here. So guest selects the Wi-Fi network, they enter in their information like they do today, and then they're taken to this homepage, which is property specific. And you can share all sorts of valuable information on this landing page, things like your guidebook, a link to book the property again, as well as links to upsells. And we have 2 partners in particular, the Host Co Viator I'll be going into. But if you have any other places where guests can purchase things, whether it's a Mount store, a Minoan store, you can include those links as well. And then finally, this page is kind of like a link tree for your short-term rental. I'm sure you've maybe come across those before, but this page is available outside of StayFi as well, or this login experience. So you can share this landing page for each property with all the valuable links via text message, email, and through PMS messaging. And I'll show you today some ways of how you can automate that as well. So this list of valuable links is available to every guest over the course of the stay. What are the key features of what you can put on this homepage? Number one is definitely these upselling opportunities. So within the store, we have the Host Co Viator, but you can add others as well, like I mentioned. We also have the ability for you to present a property-specific guidebook, whether that's a digital guidebook like TouchStay, Hostfully, Folio, or even simply a PDF that you can upload. So we support all different types of guidebooks that you can add here, so every single guest, not just the booker, has easy access to this information. And then finally, you can add custom buttons as well. So there's other things that you want every guest to have access to during their stay. You can add those as well. The 2 partners that are built into the homepage are the HostCo and Viator when it comes to upselling. The HostCo is a store that's free to use through StayFi, where you can sell not only your own goods and services, but there'll be a bunch of local vendors that are already pre-populated in your stores. So some examples of what you can sell yourself, those are things like extra guest fees, early check-in, late checkout, mid-stay cleans, pool heating, as well as even goods and items. So if you want to sell consumable items or rent kayaks, you can do that all through the HostCo store. And there also will be a ton of partners in the HostCo store that you can sell as well, where you'll get a commission. So some items are things that you sell, other items are from partners where you just get a commission. And I'll show you how that works when we actually show StayFi and how we set up the homepage. The other partner that's built in is called Viator. Viator is owned by TripAdvisor, and it's the largest marketplace for tours and activities in the world. I'll show you how to set up that as well. And through that, you can get an 8% commission on any tour and activity that's booked through your homepage or anywhere else you want to share those links. And that is a great way to monetize the data that you're collecting through StayFi by sharing, the favorite tours and activities you have in your local area. So from outside of upselling, it's also a great place, this homepage, to share these links, things like a link to your website, guidebook, book again. Book again typically will go directly to the listing the guest is staying in, so they can easily book that property again. And all of these links on your homepage are customizable by property, and I'll show you how you set that up in your StayFi account. What are some benefits we've seen from our beta test of homepage? We have customers that are on track to earn up to $20,000 in additional revenue annually per listing. That's obviously from selling primarily their own goods and services, things like stay extension, late checkout, early check-in. Obviously, you'll earn less revenue when you sell goods and services from third parties, where you just get like an 8 to 15% rev share. It's a great way to get this information that is so valuable to the stay, like the guidebook, in front of every guest. Typically we see customers that use guidebooks, they're sending them to the booker, right, prior to stay. This way, now that information that you've invested in, that you want everyone to know about, will be accessible to every single guest when they log into the Wi-Fi. So you no longer have to rely on that booker sharing this information with all the other guests. They'll all get easy access to all these essential links when they log into the Wi-Fi, and through email and text marketing if you want to use those tools as well. So now I'm going to transition over to a StayFi account, where we're actually going to go through the process of setting up the homepage in your StayFi account. So if you log into your StayFi account and you haven't done this yet, you'll notice a new tab here called Wi-Fi Experience on the left. Before you go set up the homepage, there are some things you can do to make the setup process even easier. And the most important one is to connect your property management software to StayFi. There are some new features in HomePage that leverage your PMS connection. So you definitely want to go to integrations here on the left and make sure you've connected your property management software. You can see we have a ton here. If you find that we don't have your PMS, it's not essential and not required that you connect one, right? It will just make some of the steps in the setup process faster, since we will pull data from the PMS to fill in some fields. It's also important that once you connect the PMS, that you've also linked each property in your software to StayFi. That's represented by this orange lightning bolt here. So if you don't see the lightning bolt for all your properties, you'll want to click on Sync with PMS and go to Update Existing Properties if you have some here already, or Import for new ones. So if I hit Update, I'll go ahead and link that last property. This can take a few minutes, especially if you have a lot of properties, since we have to go and fetch each one from your property management software. So just hold tight on this page, it will load. And then here you can see I have this StayFi property, Cozy Forest Cabin. I want to link it to Cozy Forest Cabin in Hostfully in this case. And once I do that, I just hit Link Properties. And now you'll see they all have this orange arrow, which means I'm good to proceed with setting up the homepage. So you go to Wi-Fi Experience and you click Set Up Your Homepage, and this will kick off the process. There are three steps to setting up the homepage. The first is we're just going to confirm we have some brand elements from your company that are going to be universal for everywhere across StayFi. That's things like your website, social media links, etc. Then we're going to build your homepage template. So the homepage is designed to support having hundreds or even thousands of properties. So the way this works is, first, we're going to decide which types of buttons and links you want to have on your homepage. And then the last step, we actually put in the values for those buttons and links. For instance, let's say you want to have a guidebook button. You'll decide that on step 2. And then in step 3, you'll actually put in the link or upload the PDF for every guidebook for each property. If, let's say, you have some of these fields where you have guidebooks for some properties and not for others, whenever you leave a field blank in step 3, the button just won't appear. So if you only have a guidebook for half the properties, don't worry. When you leave that field blank, it just won't appear for those properties. So you don't have to worry about that. So when it comes to brand elements, you can see here, because I've already loaded these when I made my splash pages before, we actually already have them. So things like logo, website are here, so I don't need to change those. If I did have social media links down here, I could add them. I don't in this case, so I just hit next. Then I'm actually going to build my homepage template. So like I said before, this step, we're just deciding which links I want to have. But if I end up not having a value to fill those links, that's totally fine. You can, as an option, have the property address shown on your homepage. So I'm going to go enable that. And you can also have a contact us button here in the upper right. In that case, you can put a phone, email, or both. So I'm just going to put support@stafi.com as my email. Down below here, we always give you the option to have a guidebook, book again, and visit our website link. And through here, I can choose which order I want to have those in. Let's say I don't want a book again button. So it's going to show here no matter what. But on the next step, if I don't put a link in under book again, the button just doesn't appear. So don't worry about that. The image we also will pull in on the next step as well. You can add custom buttons here really easily. Let's pretend that I use Minoan, which is a storefront to sell goods in the property that are, things there that you have like in your home. So I can put in here like buy or shop this home, purchase our favorite items in this property. And this will allow me to add, let's say, that Minoan link at the next step here. Down below, there are some additional options. One is a Facebook pixel. So if you do any Facebook or Instagram advertising, you can create something called a Facebook pixel. And when you place that here, it lets you create a retargeting audience based on everybody who comes through this page. So what that would mean in practice is you could set up an ad in your Facebook ads account where every time a guest logs into the Wi-Fi, it adds that guest to this audience automatically. And you can then retarget them with Instagram ads. So your ads will start appearing in their Instagram feed immediately. So that's an option. It's definitely for more like sophisticated digital marketers. It's a cool thing to add. And then down below here, I can sign up for the HostCo and Viator. So both of these are free. So I definitely recommend turning them on. When you turn on the HostCo, we will actually create a HostCo account for you and create stores for each of your properties. Then you will get an email to log into your HostCo account where you can then go ahead and edit all those stores. And I'm going to show you how to edit your stores in a second. The second is Viator. Viator is that tours and activities program where you get 8% res share. In this case, we'll send you an email with instructions of how to set that up, and I'll show you that as well. On this next step, this is just how we create your HostCo stores, is we have to send them the addresses for all your properties. Because I synced with my Hostfully data in my PMS, it pulled in this address data. If, for instance, we don't have your PMS or you didn't connect it, you'd have to enter in the address data manually at this point. Finally, this is that step I mentioned where we actually input the data for each home. You can see here that it imported an image from Hostfully or the PMS for each property that will be shown on the homepage. If I didn't like one of these images, I could disconnect it like this and then add my own. We just pull in like the primary or first image in your property management software. So if you don't like that one or you don't think it's good here, you can change it. We also have this book again link. So here you can put the link to rebook this property, which I've inserted here, which you can then paste in. And that way people can easily book again for each property. Over here, I have a guidebook link. In this case, I actually have a Hostfully guidebook for each property that you can fill in here. You can also upload a PDF. So you don't need to have a digital guidebook. You can also use a PDF guidebook for simplicity. Finally, the HostCo link will be filled in automatically because we actually go ahead and create your HostCo store for you. In this case, these are the links to all my stores. There's one for each property, and I'll show you in a second how we can edit those. Then this is the custom button I made. So I can add any URL I want here, or upload a file. And then finally, I'll show you in a second, to activate Viator, we're going to paste some code in here later, and I'll show you how to do that. And then on the right here, you can actually preview what each homepage will look again. So you can see I have a book again link, my guidebook link, website. I already have my HostCo store, and then I made this other custom button. For instance, if I had like a Minoan store. After I'm done setting that up, this Wi-Fi experience page is now where I can not only edit all my home pages, but also edit splash pages. So to get back to any of those things I showed you, you can go to Global Brand Preferences to edit those logo and website links and social media. Edit Homepage Template is where I decided which links I wanted on my homepage, as well as opting in for the HostCo and Viator. And then now splash pages are also built from a template. We didn't edit any of your splash pages that you had existing in your account, but going forward, when you create new properties, they're going to be built off this splash page template, very similar to the home page, where it will automatically create a splash page with this information. I can now have new options, like I can have a headline that says, "Welcome to property name," and that will dynamically fill in for each property. Similar to this text below, you can edit the colors, etc. You can change the background. And then just like the home page for now with splash pages, we have this bulk editor. So for the splash page where guests enters their information, you can customize it from a bulk editor. And then for the home pages, I can also customize those from this bulk editor. If you don't want to use the bulk editor, you can also edit them property by property, which is the exact same thing. So if I go to Cozy Forest Cabin and hit edit splash page, I can edit the splash page just for this property. I can edit the home page just for this property. And then I can even do some other things. Like if I had multiple brands, I could actually even have a different logo for this property than another property. And this is the property information where I can end up occupancy alerts and all those things, right? So you can do it property by property, or you can use our bulk editor to edit all of these splash pages and home pages. The last thing I'll point out here is each homepage has its own link. So if you want to share this homepage, static page, in advance of somebody joining the Wi-Fi, you can copy the link here. And if I paste that into a new window, it will show the homepage for this property. So you can share this other ways as well. Now I'm going to go and show you the two upsell partners in more detail. One is the HostCo, second is Viator. So like I mentioned before, when I sign up for the HostCo here, it's going to create an account for me automatically and create all my stores for me. And it's going to email you instructions of how to log into the HostCo. And the HostCo is free, right? So there's no obligation to use it by signing up. Once you log in, it's going to look something like this. So each one of your homes is going to have a HostCo store. So you can see these are the 4 stores for my 4 properties. I'm going to click into one to kind of show you what each one looks like. Within each store, there's going to be 4 products that you sell. They're going to be added automatically. One is extra guests, one is pet fee, one is early check-in, and one is late checkout. Let's say I don't want extra guest or pet fees. I can easily mark those as inactive, and they'll go away from the store. They're down here at the bottom if I ever want to add them again. Then let's say I want early check-in, but I want to change some of the parameters around it. You can edit it, you can change the price, you can change the description. And then for product settings, you can say like, how many days notice do you need? Does it require approval? So all of these ones are always requests. So like early check-in, late checkout, you can always have it be a request. So then you can approve or deny it, whether you want to actually sell this to a guest in this instance. Everything else below that says local vendors are from local partners of the HostCo, where you will earn a commission. let's say I want to sell this Palm Spring Air Museum experience. It's on. If I click on it, you can see here if someone purchases this, I make 10 and it costs 40 for the guests. So each one of these has a different rev share amount, and you can decide if there's certain ones you don't want to offer. You can also turn them off here as well. So there's a ton of vendors in this area. The local vendors is going to just depend on the geography you're in. One thing I'll add is if you're outside of the US, you can still use the host code. They just don't have the local vendors, but you'll always be able to sell your own services. And then in addition, you can also add products yourself. So let's say you want to do mid-stay cleans or pool heating, you can do those as add-ons. If you have like goods in your property that you want to sell yourself, you can add those, or things like rentals. With the goods, you can even have inventory kept in the HostCo. There's a million different things you can sell and monetize in your HostCo store. And so, if you're interested and you sign up, you can always reach out to the HostCo if you want more information about selling particular types of items or partnering with different merchants in your area. And each store is unique. So just make sure, like, let's say you don't want to have the extra guest fee, you're going to have to click into each one and disable it. The other nice thing is, let's say you want to sell early check-in. Obviously, it's too late once the guest logs into the Wi-Fi to purchase a service like that. You can always share the link to your HostCo store directly. So under Share Store, you can find the link to each store. And that way you can say like, hey, do you want to purchase early check-in? Just go here. And then you can send that through, for instance, your property management software messaging in advance of the stay. And that will always come through as a request, so you're not obligated to honor it. All of those stores will be in your StayFi account automatically. If you don't, let's say you sign up for the HostCo and decide, hey, I don't want to use this. If you delete the HostCo store URL from your home pages, that button will just go away. Now I'm going to go over to Viator. When you sign up for Viator in StayFi, you'll get a different email which explains how to set up a Viator account. That will take you to this article where it will show you where and how to sign up for a Viator affiliate program. Once you've signed up for a Viator affiliate program, you're going to create something called a widget in your Viator account. So that's this is like once you have a Viator affiliate account, it will come to something like this. You'll go to Tools, Affiliate Tools, Widgets. And then here you can see I have some widgets already. Let's show you this LA widget. I want this actually to be Palm Springs, so I'm going to write Palm Springs into here. And this will pull up the top selling items in Palm Springs for the Viator, page where you can sell these. Then you can decide how many you want to sell or how many you want to list. 20 is a good number. You has to be on this grid show, and then I can change this to Palm Springs. If you can also sell like specific tours and activities, let's say you don't want the top selling ones, you want to actually pick them, you can do that through these other options here. I always recommend top selling just because these can change all the time or sell out. So if you pick some manually, they may go away after a few months or change seasonally. Just putting in the destination will always have you display the top selling ones. Once I'm done deciding which tours and activities I want to sell, each widget here, if you hit this button, there's going to be some code. So you're going to get this code for each widget. You copy this. Then you're going to go to StayFi and just paste that code here into this Viator column. Once I do that, you'll see there's a new local attractions button in my homepage. And when I click on that, this is what the guests will see. So it's nice that these are embedded within your homepage like this. Let's say a guest wants to do this, Wild Florida Drive. If they hit book now here, then it will take them here and they can, actually make this booking. And if they make a booking within 30 days of clicking this link, you're going to get that 8% commission. So that's how easy it is to set up Viator within StayFi. Now that you've created a homepage where you have all the essential links, Viator, the HostCo, and you know every guest is going to see that when they log into the Wi-Fi, you might also want to market this homepage other ways. The number one way I recommend doing that is first in our text marketing tool. So if you're not familiar, you can start collecting phone numbers within StayFi and have people opt into text marketing. And what I would do is take this Wi-Fi welcome message and use this to market the homepage. And the way this works is every time the guest logs into the Wi-Fi, they will receive this text message from you. And this text message can contain a ton of dynamic links. So in this case, we already wrote this here using these dynamic buttons below. So this one will say, hi, first name, welcome to property name. Please find all essential info in our homepage here. And then it will insert the dynamic link to the homepage for that property. That way, every single guest, booker, non-booker, will have that easy access to that page with the guidebook, Book Again, and the upsells. The other place you can insert this automatically is in an email using our email marketing tool. In our email marketing tool, the first thing we always recommend you set up is a Wi-Fi welcome email. So under automations, you can create a journey where every time the guest logs into the Wi-Fi, you can trigger them an email. In this case here, if I edit this email content, I can also insert dynamic links. So if I go and click into any text here and hit insert and go to custom fields, StayFi Wi-Fi guests and hit homepage URL, this will also dynamically insert the homepage URL in every email. So depending on which property the guest is in, this was going to change depending on the home they're in. You can insert property names, all sorts of dynamic fields. In this case, if I copy this, I can also paste it into this button here. So the button link can also be this special code that then will, go to the correct homepage based on where the guest is in. So that way, one automation email can contain the dynamic correct links for whatever property the guest is in. Awesome. That is the entire presentation. So as a reminder, you go to Wi-Fi Experience. It will walk you through the setup of creating your homepage. I definitely recommend turning on Viator and the HostCo, and then going into those two products and editing them and creating your Viator widget. And then as a last step, I would definitely make sure that you market this homepage outside of just the Wi-Fi experience, whether that's through a text message, an email, sending the link in advance using this link here. We even have the ability where you can download a QR code, and that will also pull up the homepage automatically in a property. So there's lots of great ways you can market the homepage to guests so they have easy access, not just to the essential home information and how to rebook, but also these very nice upselling tools. Now I'm going to go over to questions. I see that Yvonne has been answering a ton of them, but I'll go through a few of them just to highlight them. Someone asked about customizing each homepage. So like I showed you, you make the template, and then in the bulk editor, you can edit each specific homepage. So you can, make sure that they're different for each property. Someone asked, what domain will the homepage be under? It's going to be at a StayFi domain. So in this case, you can see here, this one is in a staging environment, but it would say guest.stayfi.com/ some code specific for your brand. So these homepages are still hosted by StayFi. They're not hosted by a third party, but our branding on here is very minimal. It's going to mainly be featuring you, of course. Can you remove the book again tile if we choose? Like I said before, even though we have this book again column every single time, if you delete a URL here, the button just doesn't appear. So that will always be an option, but if you don't have the URL there, it will be empty. Someone asked if they already have a HostCo account, can that be integrated? Yes. So when you go to create your homepage, you can turn on the HostCo, but if the HostCo sees that they already have a account under the same email, then they don't make a new one. And then you can just go to your HostCo account, take those links for each property and paste them in. You also don't need to have a unique store for each home if you don't want. You can have one store if all your homes are in the same area and paste the same URL on all of them. Someone asked which guidebooks you can feature. So any guidebook that has a link to share, you can use in the guidebook section. So this person asked about TouchStay. TouchStay is great. Hostfully Folio, those are the most common ones. And then I'd say PDF is also super common. So you don't need to have a fancy digital guidebook to share that information if you have a more traditional kind of PDF or static guidebook. Someone asked if they can white label to our domain. Sadly, not yet. Someone asked about Mount. So like I mentioned before, Mount is not a built-in partner, but you can always add a custom button. You can add a custom button for, tours and activities from Mount. And then in each homepage in the bulk editor, add your Mount URL. So you can always add a custom button if you're using an upselling partner that's not integrated with StayFi just yet. Someone asked if they can send an email formatted like the homepage for guests. And if will be available outside of the home. So like I said before, the homepage is a static website that you can share anywhere you want. And you can find all the relevant links here under Wi-Fi experience, under copy link. When it comes to email marketing, you can't make the email, well, you could always build it yourself. It's not going to automatically look like the homepage. But like I showed you, you can dynamically link to the correct homepage for each property. Someone asked if we own the HostCo. No, we don't own the HostCo. Um, So any other open questions? I think that is all the questions so far. Looks like Yvonne answered most of them for you guys anyways. Someone asked about how does Airbnb feel about sending a homepage link through their system? Honestly, I don't know what the current state of sending like third-party links through Airbnb messaging is. I know they don't want you to, for instance, we never want to encourage you to divert a Airbnb booking to a direct booking. So once the guest books through Airbnb, that's where it's going to stay. But of course, if you're sending things like guidebooks through to a guest via Airbnb messaging through a link, you could also send them the homepage link. And yes, we will be sending a recording of this and actually publishing it live. So if there's no other questions, we can wrap this up a little early. I really appreciate, again, everybody joining. Oh, someone asked if a guest wants to unpack first after checking in, how do they get back to the homepage? So let's say a guest logs into the Wi-Fi, they just quickly click through the homepage because they're wanting to do other things. That's where you can use the text marketing or email marketing to send them that link so they have it on their phone for the whole stay. Then we also have the option to download the QR code. So you could place a QR code in your home saying like access all your home's information here, and it will also go to the homepage. So there's lots of ways that you can advertise the link to the homepage so that guests have it over the course of the whole stay, and you're not just relying on them to see it when they log into the Wi-Fi for that one time. Awesome. Thanks you guys so much for attending. Obviously, if you set up the homepage in your StayFi account and you have questions, you can always email support@stayfi.com and someone can either answer your question or set up time with you to actually go in and configure it for your account. And then if you have questions about the HostCo, we don't own the HostCo. That's just a partner of ours. So we can answer some basic questions, but obviously if you have very specific questions about how selling certain types of items work or how you rent items and have guests sign waivers, which I know they support, obviously they're the best resource to contact for any HostCo specific questions. And when you sign up for the HostCo, in that email will include information about how to contact their support team about any specific questions about your stores that you want answered. Sweet. Yeah, well, thanks everybody, and have a great rest of your Thursday, and have a great weekend as well. And yeah, just email support@stayfi.com if you have any further questions or get stuck anywhere along the way. Thank you.